Welcome to the FX, and here we're looking at the US dollar on a daily chart here, and we'd been looking at this move up here completing at 81 and then expecting a move lower through here. Now we do have this sharp move down through here to help confirm that, and we're looking at a three-wave counter trend pulling back up 50-60% of this particular move down through to here. So that could just about be in place as well. But before sort of going long on the euro, so to speak, and short here, then we would need the 80.50 here at minimum as a retested resistance, because we've got an Elliott count that's suggesting further downside here, but the trading levels, the market is above the closest largest number, which is the 80, so it's actually got a positive bias and therefore can move higher. Now the next important number between 80 and 81 is 80.50, so this is support would only increase the probability that the market would be looking to the upside. So we would need to see it fail at these current highs into group 2 here, which would be the 65, 72 and the 80. So this is the 50 to 60% retracement level from this move down through to here, and it does appear that we've got three waves here. This little wave here will have 5 waves in it. It may not be finished, but the main point here is that allowing it to complete, and then to see if the 80.50 becomes the retested resistance and giving us overlapping wave structures here. So that would be the safer bet to see that occur and then look at trading long on the euro. And if you're trading long on the euro, then you would need, well, first of all, you'd want to be above the 136 before you bought. That just makes sense. And if you can work out, tested support on 136, well, then that gives you, a higher probability of success. Otherwise, we'd be looking at 136.30 as a retested support, and that would obviously a move up here would give us overlapping wave structures coming down through here, especially with this move here. So that would give us a bullish bias, and also 136.50 and so on from that point there. Once again, we do have this move up through to here, which could cement this particular low in place here, but we just need the evidence as such, because spikes are spikes, and I don't know, they don't, because they haven't sort of taken their time and gone there sort of naturally in a sense. He's got to be a little bit sort of wary of them and including them in count. So sometimes I just like to sort of forget about them, and if they were forgetting about them, then this would be the natural flow of just forgetting about that and moving through here. And if that was the case, then we'd be looking for a new low below this one here to give us this wave 5 of C here. And if that was the case, we would be looking in this case down for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 coming into this sort of area through here to give us that wave 5 of C here. So yeah, look, support starting at 136.30 would be a nice place to start. Yeah, so just be mindful. There's not a really good setup here just yet. There's no sort of confirmation on a move higher just yet. The Australian dollar is going well as expected, and now is looking at well, a couple of things here. First of all, because it's approaching old highs here, it'll be moving into the overbought area here on the daily, which would be significant. And also this trend line resistance here will obviously show up in some internal price action as well. One of the other points here too is that the market has traded above the 93, which is positive, but the breakout's important, but the retest is more important. So looking at this daily chart here, it's quite probable that we could see a move a little bit higher, whatever, but basically looking for, a retest back into 93 or 93.30, somewhere in there, before seeing further up move. But a nice tested, this was resistance. We're looking for it to become support, but it hasn't really been tested as support yet and could very easily do that. The other important point here is the 92.72. As long as the market realistically stays above that, then this trend up here is intact. And if that's the case, eventually we'll be looking for this high to be taken out through to here and looking, into the 95 area here. And 5 waves up here in the bigger picture, as I've got here, like the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 and the 5 here. This would be the first impulse wave over this, this much larger bear market that we've had here as well. So this would be a the first the first impulse wave up. So if we get 5 waves here up into new high above here, then we'll get an A and a B and a C correction, and then we'll get another 5 up. And it's these 5 here that will make great trading as well, because it should be a third wave to the upside. So we can go long term long on that as such. And we've been pretty much long term long from all above the 90 anyway, but we even got, well, we understood the low here as well. So it's just been a bit of a guessing game. Is that, do we get 3 waves up here for an ABC and then a rollover from here, or do we get a wave 4 to come back and then further to the upside? So all the time it's had the bias of creating 5 waves up. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah. So just on the intraday here, conservatively on the 1 hour here, we can count 5 waves up to this point here. Now, there's always a beginning, a middle, and an end to a trend, and it certainly looks like it's sort of ending because it's making new highs here and then dropping off quite quickly. So it's basically creeping to the upside. We know there's trend line resistance up here on the daily. We know that on the daily it's overbought at this area here as well. So yeah, it can still continue to give us another high, but just be mindful that in the bigger picture we can expect some type of larger correction from this area here. Now, just drilling in here, I haven't had a chance to update everything yet, but this move down here appears to be in as an A and a B and a C wave here. So support on the midpoint here, 93.50, would see a move above this high here. And I get that ABC from here. Looking at this sort of first strong move down through here, we can see that it's in 5 waves here. So we've got an A wave here and a B wave up here, and then we've got 5 waves down, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So that basically gives us an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave here. So we should take this high out here. But to confirm that, we really want to see support on the 93.50, which you should get because this looks corrective here as well. Here, and we don't have any overlapping wave structures up here so far, so it's all looking quite good. Support on 93.50 will take you higher up, but being mindful that there is a lot of resistance further up here as well. The Euro Australian is still working lower, and just on the daily chart here, if I was looking at the monthly chart, I could see that we've got further to go down. The indicators suggesting, down into 140, 130 area even, so it has potential to move lower. And we know that it's in a correction in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves impulsing to the downside. But we should get some sort of reasonable correction after 5 waves. And I thought that we may have had 5 waves here. Or even into this point here. So it's all pretty clear from here. We've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4. That's all pretty clear, isn't it? So wave 5 coming down here is obviously not finished. It's as simple as that. So this quite high retracement here would be labelled as a wave 4. And I'll just explain that a little bit here on the intraday here. So I was looking at this being this wave 4 up here, the blue wave 4, then down for 1 here, back for 2 here, staying under that low there. All of this being the third wave, an A and a B and a C for the 4th wave here. Even though it's overlapped slightly with wave 1, we'll just have to take that on board with happened with leverage products. And then wave 5 moving lower through here. That would be confirmed if this low here at 145.1, I think, is taken out here, and this would just simply be down for 1, back for 2, down for 3. Also another high retracement for wave 4 here, and then moving down into new lows here. So there is support at 145, and we can expect a bounce at the 145, but I just don't have a clear path for this. But as I mentioned on the monthly chart, or I could see it coming further down. The 61.8 retracement level is down at 130, So that's quite a way down, but we won't sort of look at that just yet. But if the 145 becomes the retested resistance, then we can start looking at 140, because 145 is halfway between 150 and 140. So the weight would be shifting to that particular point. So let's just see how that goes. And we also want to see too, you know, if the euro is actually going to have a low in there, is it going to be strong as such, and the Australian dollar being strong as well. So it's the same with the yen crosses, the pound yen and the euro yen that we look at. The pound yen is stronger than the euro yen, but we also really want to see if that euro, US dollar has a top in there in place and the euro has a low in there, which we want to see if we get that changeover. If not, well, then we'll continue with the trends that we've got. The pound yen here, last week we were looking at counting 5 waves up through to here, and then having a correction across the 172, and that seems to be playing out sort of quite nicely here. We can see that, you know, the market was strong through here and is starting to creep here, so we know there's a top in play here. The indicator suggesting that we're into an overbought situation, but the momentum in the bigger picture is still to the upside. So I can see this market continuing to the upside once we've had a little bit of a correction here. How big will this correction be is the question. Will it pull back to the 61.8 retracement level of this move here? I suggest we just sort of wait and see here how it goes. Now, of course, we don't want to miss anything. So if the next time around we get support on 172.30, a nice tested support, then we'd need to be long from that point there. Okay. Otherwise, we're looking for a move lower through here as such, but we don't have a very clear impulse wave to the downside so far. This little move down through here really counts as a 5-3-5 structure, so basically an A and a B and a C. Unless this fails from here and brings this down here, then we'll have a 5-wave structure to the downside, and then we can confirm that that correction is on its way. But you know, this is the main price point here, the 172, and that as support or resistance is, you know, the bias. So it needs to be under the 172 before we can call that correction retracement actually in play. The euro yen is in a slightly weaker situation, but we were looking at this market going to the 140, any longs to the 140 and exiting. So I hope that's all done and dusted. We can see that this is being retested here currently as resistance here, and could possibly move lower, but we just need to give it a little bit of time. But you can see here that you know, it was support and then it's moved through and it's found it as resistance. So for me, normally that would point out that you know, the bias is on the negative side. We just need to confirm, you know, what type of reaction pattern that we're actually getting from here. And as I mentioned as well, we want to see, well, you need to have a look at the US dollar yen to have a look at the strength on that side, and also the euro as well. You know, do we have a low in the euro, you know, around the 136, and will it find support on 136 and move higher? Because if that's the case, then we'll find some support here as well. Yeah, look, this is just the euro yen as well. You know, we were basically looking for it in the same sort of move up as the pound yen, so to speak. And both of them are sort of looking quite toppy here, as you can see. So we're just working through this correction here. If we get 5 waves down through here, and we'll look at that in a moment, we don't have them yet, but if we do, if we get a move to 139, then we'll have 5 waves here from that high there. So if we get 5 waves down, we'll get a counter trend, and then we'll get another 5 down, okay? So looking at this here from this high point here, you can see that we've got sort of 1, 2, third wave down. You can see this is corrective here, so it looks like we'll drop further down through here. It's just that we're sitting in group 1, so 10, 20 and 30, of course. Once the market sort of finds the 139.20 as resistance, then it'll pull it down there. But the main point here is that if we get 5 waves in the opposite direction, which is, you know, this has been the trend up here, if we get 5 waves down here, then we'll get a counter trend, could go back up to this supply level, or realistically this one here as well. So either one of these, and then we'll get another 5 down from that point there, or from this point here. Alrighty, well that's it. Same as last week really. It's just really a matter of, does that US dollar have a top in at 81? And we can't confirm that yet. It's kind of on its way of doing that, but it's not confirmed. Once it is confirmed, then we'll have a better idea of support and resistance levels in some of these crosses. All right, thanks for listening.